It's springtime in Laurentians, and the foremost green of the season has given birth and is out there for everyone to enjoy. The formidable Dandelion Green. Byron, what are you doing over there with those wild greens that are good for your health and everything else?
Well, my friend, I'm doing something very tedious over here. I am picking out edible dandelions that were picked in our garden. Unfortunately, now is the season when there's a lot of pine needles in the ground. So whether you like it or not, you end up getting a lot of pine needles in with your greens. And I don't know about you, but I don't like eating pine needles. They're gonna get stuck in my throat. So I'm sitting here picking out the green dandelions one by one from the pile. And there's the clean. I'm sure there's at least 20, 50, 80 pine needles in there, but originally there were hundreds and thousands, so we'll still be doing better.
What do you plan on doing with these?
What you do with all dandelions, I'm gonna give them a quick steaming, maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Then leave them in their water, turned off, no fire, another 10 minutes, and then drain them. And then either have them as a salad or cook them in an omelette, cook them as part of a pizza. It's a green, you know, you can use it in any number of ways. Salad is the fastest way. It's the most, you retain most of its goodness in the salad, because you can only cook it that one time.
Now, you're Greek, right? So the Greeks have
right.
always been eating dandelion greens. Isn't that like part of your Greek heritage?
It's not just Greek, it is Mediterranean. All over the Mediterranean, in the winter, this is your food in the winter, because in the winter there is no tomatoes and zucchinis and eggplants and peppers and green beans and everything that you like to eat, but the greens grow because of the rain in the mountains. So people all over the Mediterranean, the Italians, the French, the Portuguese, and of course the Greeks, have always eaten wild greens that grow in the woods. Also, by the way, at the same time as these greens grow in that part of the world, there's mushrooms. So in the winter there you eat mushrooms and you eat greens. A tremendous diet. Wild mushrooms we're talking here. Well, etc. This is almost done. I'll finish it later. I'm a little tired.
Isn't there a pie that you make with these dandelion
greens? You could
greens?
use dandelions instead of spinach in your spinach pie.
Yeah.
Or you could use it along with spinach for that extra flavor. The big deal about wild green is that it's bitter. And bitter usually means better nutrition, more vitamins, and more antioxidant, because that's what that bitterness is. You get it, the closest you come to a dandelion from a cultivated green is the broccoli rape, and there's also, of course, dandelions that people can buy at a store. So, well, there you go.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Come back later. We'll eat them.
So, Byron, you got your greens, and what are you doing with them now?
Well, you know, after all that time of picking, it took about an hour. This is all you got left. I just gave them a wash under the sink just to get the dust out of them.
Yeah.
And now I put them into salted, boiling water, and I'm gonna cook them for about, they're bitter, you know, and they're wild, so they will cook for about 8-9 minutes. And then I'll leave them in the hot water. Hello. I will leave them in the hot water lidded for another half an hour after that. I don't want them to boil too much. I just want them to cook, poach. And that's all, I mean, you know, no big deal right now. It's what you do with them after they've been boiled that matters. So here they are, ready to be used. If you take a look over here, we slow simmered them in there in water, which water, by the way, is very beneficial. You can drink it, you can use it in the soup. Anyway, and then I left them in there. I cooked them for about 10 minutes, slow boil, and then I left them in their cooking water to slowly cool down on their own until they became nice and tender. Of course, they're still bitter. They still have all their vitamins, all their everythings. And then I drained them, took out their water. I'm just saving them now to eventually be fried a little bit in oil with a little hot oil on it, or some garlic or some soya, just to eat them. Or as I said, with lemon and olive oil. It's a little feta cheese. It works like that too. You can make them Oriental, you can make them Mediterranean, you can make them North American, just plain with butter, anything you want. There's our oil doing a little bit of, it's hot enough. And I just zap all the greens at once right into it. Let them take, you can open them up a little bit. So more of them hit the oil. The idea is just to heat them up and get them a little flavored. Since these were actually in the wild with a lot of pine needles. As you remember, I cleaned most of them, but a couple of obstinate ones still hanging out. Come on, you. Okay. Now this is just heating up nicely. The only condiments will be Chinese rice wine. This, as I said, if you're using your olive oil, you'd use lemon juice. We'll cut just a couple of little drips. It's important to turn so that vinegar burns off. So now increase the fire just a touch. Give it a zap. Look at these pine needles, but you know, I'm willing to put up with the pine needles as long as I get the official organic greens. A lot of the stuff you get in supermarkets, of course, comes from little hothouses, little hydroponic establishments that create the winter and summer and that don't have that outdoor flavor. Of course, how could they? They've never seen the outdoors. These only know the outdoors. These are the first ones. So here it is. We just let it heat up. Now this has been cooking for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. I give it one more turn. You see how, take a look here. The bottom greens is a bit more shiny than the rest. The last thing we shall do to it is put a couple of sprinkles of soya on it to give it an oriental flavor. Because I will be serving it with pad thai noodles on the side of pad thai noodles that I made earlier. I'm just going to warm them up over here. Oh, there it is, guys. It's ready. Put it off. Let it do its thing on its own. Okay, so we allowed it to let its fine little heating, and really all you need after is to just zap it onto your plate. The only decoration on it, which I don't have, if I'm not going to use, is a couple of strips of red pepper just to give it color. Otherwise, this is totally ready to go. Enjoy.